Ever wonder how a sports team goes from just an idea to, a real powerhouse in just a handful of years? Well, today we're digging into the story of Orlando City. This is a club that was literally built on a super bold promise and some serious ambition.
No, I mean, really think about it for a second. How do you build a professional sports team from nothing? I'm talking no players, no stadium, not even a single fan yet. It sounds kind of impossible, right? But as you're about to see, there's actually a blueprint for this stuff, a way to turn that dream into a major league reality.
And that blueprint, well, you could say it was written by the very team we're talking about today, Orlando City SC. Their whole journey, from being this little lower league dream to a legit major trophy winner, it basically gives us the answer. And for them, it all kicked off with this lion.
Okay, so to really get how they pulled all this off, we gotta rewind. Let's go all the way back to the beginning. And their start? It was defined by one single thing. Just massive, unapologetic ambition. So the club officially gets started back in 2010 by a guy named Phil Rollins. But here's the thing, from day one, the goal wasn't just to, have a team. No way. Rollins went public with this crazy mission: get into Major League Soccer, the top league in the country, within just 5 years. And that wasn't just some private goal, it was a public promise. He put it all out there.
And you know what? They immediately started backing up that big talk with results. I mean, in their first 4 years, they didn't just compete in the lower leagues. They absolutely dominated them. We're talking 2 championships, 2 regular season titles, just completely running the show. They were building this winning culture way before they ever got a sniff of the big stage.
But here's the catch. Winning on the field? That was only half the battle. To actually get into MLS, they had to prove they were a major league club in every other way you can imagine.
See, Major League Soccer has this super strict checklist, and it goes way beyond just winning games. For the league, a new team isn't just a team, it's a huge business investment. So first, Orlando had to prove they had real fan support, like a passionate fan base ready to go. Then, they had to get the local business community on board, secure that corporate backing. And maybe the biggest one of all, they needed a rock-solid plan for their very own soccer-specific stadium. That's the thing that shows you're in it for the long haul.
And as the whole city started to rally around the team, the league definitely started to notice. In 2012, the commissioner of MLS, Don Garber, actually said, "It's not a matter of if, but when." Now, that's not just a nice little pat on the back. That's a huge signal to everyone that Orlando was the real deal. Suddenly, the dream started to feel inevitable.
And then, it happened, the moment everyone was waiting for. November 19th, 2013. That's less than 4 years after that wild 5-year promise was made, and on that day, it came true. Orlando City was officially named the next team in Major League Soccer. They had actually done it.
Okay, so mission accomplished, right? Well, not so fast. Because getting into the league and actually succeeding in the league, those are 2 very, very different things. The huge celebration was about to slam right into a pretty harsh reality. But man, that journey started on an incredible high. Look at this number, 62,510. That's how many fans absolutely packed the stadium for their very first MLS game back in 2015. The city was just electric. The hope was through the roof. They had proven the fan support part of the equation, no doubt about it.
And to kick things off, the club went big. They signed a global superstar, the Brazilian legend Kaká. He was their first big-name designated player, and he really symbolized all that hope and ambition. But on the flip side of that hope was this number, 74. That's how many goals the team let in during the 2018 season, a painful, painful MLS record. It was a brutal lesson in just how tough the big leagues really are.
And those struggles on the field, they were mirrored off the field too. The club basically had a revolving door of head coaches. They were just constantly searching for the right formula, but could never find any consistency. And let's be real, you just can't build a winning team when the person in charge keeps changing.
So, after years of just kind of struggling and trying to find their footing, things were about to change. And I mean, change in a big way. A whole new chapter was beginning, one that would finally start to deliver on all that early promise.
The first huge shift comes in 2021. The club is sold to the Wilfs family, the same people who own the NFL's Minnesota Vikings. So we're talking serious, experienced ownership. And this number, an estimated $400 to $450 million, that sale price signaled a massive new level of investment. And, maybe most importantly, some real long-term stability from the top.
But the real game changer? He actually arrived a year earlier.
In 2020, head coach Oscar Pareja. This guy came in and just completely transformed the entire culture of the club. He gave them a new identity, a new toughness, and get this, in his very first season, he led them to the playoffs for the first time in their history. Talk about an immediate impact.
And all that hard work, all that rebuilding, it all led to this, a real moment of glory. September 7th, 2022. In front of their home crowd, Orlando City wins the U.S. Open Cup. This was their first major trophy as an MLS team. It was the ultimate validation for a journey that was over a decade in the making.
But here's a cool part of the story. While the team was finally finding its groove on the field, another really crucial piece of their identity was being built at the exact same time, their permanent home.
I mean, just look at the difference here. On the left, that was their first home, a massive 70,000-seat football stadium that they were just renting. And on the right, that's home now, a vibrant, loud, purpose-built soccer stadium that is all theirs.
And that whole evolution, right? Going from being just tenants in someone else's building to owning your own privately funded fortress, it's the perfect symbol for their entire journey. It represents their arrival. They weren't just a team in the league anymore. They were a permanent, powerful part of the city and of MLS.
So when you step back and look at it, they really did it all. They built a team from absolutely nothing, they got into MLS, they survived the tough years, they built their own home, and they lifted a major trophy. The original dream? It was realized for sure. So the only question left is, after you build the foundation, what does it take to build a dynasty?